guys, welcome to the entrepreneurship segment on Kenganda, where we bring young entrepreneurs all over the country. And my name is Shalom Nicolette. Today we have an awesome guest and he's going to introduce himself.
My name is Geofrey Mutabazi. I'm the founder of Chargeco, which is an energy startup that is basically making, owning and operating battery-powered devices and vehicles and stuff. More convenient and affordable, while also spreading energy access in Africa, because that's really a huge problem and everything revolves around energy.
So you recently came back from the Tech Summit in Nairobi and the Sustainable Energy for All in Rwanda. Can you tell us something about that?
So one thing I've always realized while on this entrepreneurship journey is that you cannot do it alone. Mm-hmm. And you have to partner, you have to know your ecosystem, you have to understand what's going on around you. And I always endeavor to take up opportunities to interact with other entrepreneurs, other ecosystem builders, investors, and pretty much potential customers.
Yes.
To basically enable us grow faster, serve more customers, and ensure that while on this journey, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel, or we're not trying to do everything ourselves.
Yeah, that's basically like interdependence, yes?
Yes, definitely. When we went to the Sustainable Energy for All Forum, we met, a lot of really good partners. We're already starting some work in Rwanda. Same with Nairobi. We talked to a lot of startups, talked to a lot of investors, and also got to understand where our solutions can actually add value.
Okay.
Because at times you're looking for use cases and looking for ways you can add value to other people that are doing something. Yeah, so that was some of what we did.
Okay, so could you tell us a bit of what inspired you to start and also the challenges that you faced while starting up?
It all started with what you just ended with, challenges.
We have to solve the problem.
Exactly. And for me, I looked at a number of things, and it wasn't really an aha moment. It was more of a step-by-step frustration with a lot of the problems.
Yes.
So it really started with frustration, but then also vision and passion, because you can't really rule out any of those factors. So with frustration, you look at some of the energy challenges that we have in Africa and some of the challenges that you face as an individual with, powering your devices when you're out and about, power blackouts here and there.
Yeah, especially in Uganda. So that's basically the problem that you were trying to solve.
Exactly. But I was also passionate about solving problems for people. It wasn't really just looking at this opportunity or this problem. It was more of, you're looking at the opportunity, but do you really want to solve it? Because there are a lot of things that you see and you recognize as a problem, but do you really want to solve it? Is it something you're passionate about solving?
You talked about something, you made a post somewhere about the end-to-end energy solution for tourists. And tell us about that, because our audience is mainly African American, people in the diaspora. So that could be the angle of tourism as well. So tell us about that.
During the lockdown, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we realized that one of the sectors we could really add value to is tourism. Because look at most tourism locations and activities. Most of them are in remote areas.
True, that's very true.
And to get to those...
so far.
Exactly.
Oh, my days.
So to get to those locations, first of all, you have to travel hours. At least 2, 3, even 5 or 6 hours.
Even 9.
On the road, you basically need energy because, one, you're traveling for long hours and you need something to occupy you. So nowadays, people travel with books, people travel with their phones to, watch videos and all that stuff. People also travel with, devices, with your laptop to work while on the go. And for someone who is basically maybe coming from maybe the US,
yes.
Maybe you're a digital nomad. Maybe you're taking off, 3-4 months to work while traveling.
Yes.
And you don't really want to disconnect from work, but you're forced to because of the energy challenges.
Yes.
So we realized that was one challenge. And then when you get to a tourism location, you want to power your drone to take those nice shots. You want to charge your camera. You want to charge your phone and your flashlights. And there's so much stuff you carry around. And we decided, you know what, if we solve one of these problems,
At least it's one step forward.
yes, but if we solved all of them and provided that as one package, then it would make the tourism experience like 100 times better just by providing energy.
Yes.
One thing is, energy really touches so many sectors. You look at, for example, healthcare. You need energy in healthcare.
True.
Tourism, you need energy in tourism. Media. Recently, I was talking to Chris Bishop, the former managing editor of Forbes Africa.
Oh, wow.
And he said at some point his team went up, I think, Kilimanjaro mountain to do a documentary and like film the entire experience of going up the mountain. And trust me, by the time they got to that top, all their batteries were flat and they couldn't take the photos. But let's
There
say
was
if
no
you
evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with tourism, it's partly going to the location and coming back with memories
Exactly.
and then sharing those memories.
With other people.
So if you can't share those memories because
Of energy.
energy challenges, you know, your camera batteries died when you got to the summit, you'll know you got there, summited, and, you know, enjoyed the view, but you'll not
nothing
be able to
show.
share it.
Yeah.
So, or to even preserve that memory or keep it. So with Brian and the many other tourism players that we basically empower with solutions, it's really that we try to coexist with them because they can't operate efficiently without us.
Yes.
And we also can't provide solutions to, you know, a market that's not there. So we need them. But also with a lot of the partners that have empowered us to get here, like UNDP and many others, it's also in their interests to make the tourism experience or to empower all these sectors that need energy.
Yes.
In order to foster economic development and make life easier and
Smoother
for
and
everyone.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
Tell us about the market size your business is actually targeting.
So it's interesting. Market size is a very interesting thing because it's basically, I mean, most times when you're calculating market size, you're looking at, I mean, what has the market generated? So how much money is generated by a particular industry or by a particular product. But interestingly, some of the stuff we're doing is not really targeting current consumption. For some of the stuff we're doing, we're basically targeting non-consumption or unlocking a market that has not been there before. It's like when you go to a place and no one wears shoes.
So
How
this
do you-
is something new. There's
Exactly.
the uniqueness and rarity about this particular
Exactly.
thing.
So, I mean, if I was to give a rough figure, it would be upwards of $10 billion in terms of all the potential we could unlock, the potential markets that we could unlock. But I would say that would be actually an understatement because energy is one of the biggest, if not the biggest industry in the world as we know it. Energy runs everything.
That's very
So
true.
to put a number to it
It's tricky.
is tricky because, I mean, every day we literally get people approaching us and saying, wow, this solution you developed for tourists would be amazing for me as a gamer. I used to be a gamer when I was younger. I still game, but not too much. And one of my gamer friends who I had not talked with in a long time approached me yesterday. And when I told him about all the solutions we have, he was like, I've been looking for a solution like this for the longest time ever. Because when he's gaming online and power, flickers or goes off,
It's
his
that
internet
bad.
connection is taken off. So
Exactly.
if he was shooting someone, well, the bullets will stop mid-air and then he'll get
And most gaming PCs, like, they don't, it's not like laptops, yeah? Unless you, like, maybe have a UPS or something.
Yeah,
like
but
that.
even when it's a laptop,
Yes.
some of them, the laptop could, because now they're
Yes,
gaming
there's-
laptops.
And internet. as
Exactly.
well.
The internet is actually more important than
Yes.
because a lot of people now have gaming laptops.
Yeah.
Some of the gaming laptops are even modular. So what you actually in that case need to power is your internet connection.
True.
And if that goes down, then, you end up losing that moment that you're in. So it's an ever evolving market, and it's really difficult. It's been very difficult for us to size it, because how do you size something that's growing? How do you shoot at a moving target, right?
Yeah. Okay, so worldwide there is a sustainability buzz and all that, which is very important for us to have a sustainable future for us and our children. So how is Chargeco being sustainable?
So everything we're doing is very geared towards sustainability, right? Most of the products that we develop either use in some way or form renewable energy.
Oh, renewable energy is the bomb right now.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'll give you an example of 3 products. One, we have our portable power banks, and these power banks are basically distributed to people in rural areas with their mobile phones, people that don't have access to electricity to charge their phones. But then on the other end, we partner with people who have small solar systems to be able to do more with the solar systems, because you find that most of those systems have like one charging port.
Yes.
And if that person was to help his neighbors charge, they would have to charge one phone at a time. But if they were charging power banks and swapping for people within their community, one, they're utilizing the system more. 2, they're saving people from walking or driving or traveling a long distance to go charge their phone.
True. And in the village, it's normally walking.
Exactly. So besides that, we just sent one of our power stations with a group that's summiting the Rwenzori Mountains, which is the 3rd largest mountain, I believe, in the world or in Africa. And these guys, ideally, if they wanted to power their camera equipment while recording the entire experience, power their drones, power their phones and flashlights and
so it's
all
actually that powerful to even charge a drone.
Exactly. And guess what they would have done? They would have had to carry a generator with fuel all the way to the summit.
True.
More than
that's heavy.
5,000 feet above, right? To give you another vivid example, we have a team of a drone company that uses, before we gave them one of our solutions, they were traveling with a generator to the field because they go and map 75 acres of land in the middle of nowhere to basically map farms for people, do monitoring of crops and all that. And guess what? They had to carry a whole generator to the location with fuel to do this work. And the problem is not even powering the drone. The problem is processing the data while in the field. So how do you power your laptop to be able to process data while out and about? And this alone provides, more than sufficient energy to do just that. So you're replacing something that's 1, inefficient, 2, non-renewable. Lastly, one of the products that's still under development is our electric bicycles.
Oh, that's
where, for example, you're having someone delivering food or a small package to a customer, and because of the high fuel prices now, 1, they have to pay a high fee to basically deliver to the customer, and they also have to incur high upfront costs to get the asset off the ground, to basically move from point to point. So it's hitting them and it's also hitting their customer. But none of these has an increasing income. The income has remained the same, but the costs have gone up exponentially, both for the customer and for the rider.
Yes.
And I mean, it's really simple solutions, but when you add energy, I think people look at the planet as, or climate change or, going renewable as a luxury, as, something cool to have. But it actually is a necessity because having renewable energy enables you to be more sustainable, first of all, because you 100%. Can use it for ages without it running out. Secondly, it's economically viable if we make it, right? All these solutions we've deployed are much cheaper than the other alternatives for the end user, and for the person delivering the service.
Exactly.
So
So it makes even service delivery much easier
and
you know.
cheaper.
Yeah. What advice would you give the young entrepreneurs who would like the ones in the diaspora who would like to actually invest back home?
A lot of people look at Africa as, oh, we need to help Africa. My African brothers are struggling.
Yeah.
We need to uplift the continent. I think we need to look at everything we do for the opportunity. If there is no business opportunity, if there's no opportunity
Do
to
not
make
come.
sustainable,
Development and change.
yeah,
and all
like then it
that.
doesn't really make sense.
Yeah,
That's the first thing. The second thing is really going all in. I believe there's a bunch of people that there's someone who calls them helicopter CEOs. They fly in with their perspectives from God knows where,
Yes.
and they say, yeah, we believe Africa has this challenge.
And we're here to solve
We're
it.
here to solve it. They come, they set up a team, they build get a really nice office. They start providing the solution, and then they say, okay, fine, let me go back to the US.
Yes.
And
Is that you trying to say that they should be on ground
yes,
more often? Okay.
because you can't really build a solution for a place when you're
not here. When
there.
you do not, yes. Okay, so finally, I know you're a man, and we know men are providers, protectors. So there's a lot of pressure on your end, and you being a startup, right? Tell us how you handle your mental health and not get overwhelmed with all these external pressures.
I think the struggle to build something is something you have to first get comfortable with. In terms of business, when you choose to go down a certain road, you've made that choice. And to make a choice, to say yes to something, means you're saying no to so many other things.
Okay, so what did you say yes to?
I said yes to solving problems, building a business, and doing whatever it takes,
Yes.
right? To achieve that. Yes, there are challenges, but when you come to terms with the fact that these challenges can only be solved by moving forward, then, I mean,
Don't you reach a point where you get overwhelmed?
yeah, all the time.
Okay.
But then that means you're doing something good.
So when you're overwhelmed, what do you do? Do you maybe take some time off, or you just take like a chill pill?
So interestingly, businesses, I think people glorify the hustle too much and say you have to work forever. What? No. I think business is really about, if you really want to go really far, you have to look at it more as less as a marathon,
But as a journey,
more as a series of short sprints, because there is no way you can run for 10 years at a constant fast pace. You will burn out. But if you look at it as a series of short sprints, there's times when you have to have sleepless nights, work really hard, and sacrifice a lot of things to ensure that you achieve what you want to do. And then there are times when things are really moving at a manageable pace, and you really go in and out of those phases. But the thing is, don't stay too long in the work hard cycle and overdo it because you'll burn out. But also don't stay too long in the comfort zone, because you'll plateau and not grow.
You won't grow out of it.
So it's really a mixture. So sprint, rest, recover, sprint, rest, recover. And that should be, I think, the strategy. If you try to go all the way, all the time, forever, trust me, it will be very difficult for you to even go half the journey.
Okay. Do you have any last remarks?
Firstly, I would like to say I think entrepreneurship is not for the faint-hearted.
Of course.
But it also gets easier if you have the passion to solve the problem that you're solving. So you should think long and hard before going into entrepreneurship. But really, when you choose something that 10 years down the road, you would like to still work on. Because if you want to run maybe a restaurant, and let's say you're 22 years old and you start a restaurant and you want it to be the biggest restaurant ever. At 30 years or 40 years, would you still want to run that restaurant?
Well, it depends on your energy as well, because your energy has now depreciated.
Yeah, but also your passion. Will you still be passionate about
that.
running a restaurant in 10 years? That's a question you have to ask yourself, because when you go into something, you have to go all the way. You don't choose to go, stop somewhere, and then jump to something else. You have to finish what you've started.
Yes.
Or you have to go all the way with it if it has no finish line. And in some cases, some things don't have finish lines. It's more like a pass the baton race.
Yes.
Like you just a relay, pretty much. You run, pass the baton to someone else. They run, they pass to someone else, they run. And I think that's how we as Africans need to build businesses, and not really look at, oh, I'm going to run this business for 5 years or 10 years and then throw it onto the public market and run away and chill at the beach for the rest of my life. How can I build a generational, sustainable business that can deliver value to people for ages?
Yes, because at the end of the day, we are serving the people.
Exactly.
Okay, so where can the people find you?
Geofrey Mutabazi on all social media platforms, and Chargeco still on all social media platforms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Geoffrey. We are so delighted that you accepted to be on our podcast. And thank you everyone for watching. Again, my name is Shalom Nicolette. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Follow us on Instagram and all our social media platforms, Kenganda Nation. Thank you. Till next time.